Okay, so in this section 2, we will cover the policy iteration algorithm, where we will try to learn this optimal state values first, and then secondly, we will try to learn the optimal state value, state policy, sorry. All right. So, so the problem at hand is we want to learn the values of state, okay, which is given by V pi s for all the state s and a given policy pi. All right. We don't know what the values are, but one thing that we know is that they satisfy this Bellman, with these Bellman equations. That means all these values satisfy this system of equations. From that, we can find the state values. All right. So what we do is we start with arbitrary values of this state. Let's say we give it random values. Let's say we initialize every value as 0, and then we use this because we have this update rule. We use this update rule to get one step update in each value of that state. For example, on the right side, you will use all the old values of states given by V K S prime, right? And using all those old values, you get the new value of state s at the next time step, that is K plus 1. Okay, if you do this in a repeated manner, eventually you will see that the values, the change in the value keeps on reducing after you keep on doing this, and it can be shown theoretically that these sequences of VKs will eventually what they call as converge. That means they will not change substantially, and at k is equal to infinity, it will not change at all. However, for our algorithms, we will not implement this till infinity. We'll be keep on we'll just terminate this algorithm after a finite time. All right. Next is the policy improvement. Now, what we have done is for a particular policy pi, we have learned the policy values. Since we know the policy values, that means we know the we know if we have learned the state values. Since we know the state values, we also know the action values. And since we know the action values, we can always make the the policy greedy with respect to the highest action value. That means uh, the improved policy is made greedy with respect to the evaluated action value. So I'll explain this in detail. So V pi S prime are the state values that we have learned using policy evaluation, like shown in the previous slide, right? So you start with the random values of state, you do the policy evaluation, you get, and you keep on repeating it, this Bellman update until you converge and get the like some value of the state for that corresponding value of pi. So that is the state value. Using that state value, we get the action value of that state for taking that action A. From that, we choose the action which leads to the maximum action value, which is known as a greedy decision. For that particular action A, we allocate the probability of taking that action A for state S as 1, and pi dash is our improved policy. And for all the other actions, we keep it as 0. So we do the state policy evaluation, we do the policy improvement. Now we have a new policy pi dash. Now for that new policy pi dash, again we will do the state evaluation, and again we will do policy improvement. This process is known as policy iteration. So you start with pi 0, which is any initially you can initialize any policy in starting. The only thing that you need to take care is that it satisfies the condition that the summation of over the entire action space has to be 1, because it's a probability distribution, right? In case of discrete cases. And then the E step is the evaluation process, where you get the state values corresponding to this policy pi. Then you do the improvement over this policy, which leads to an improved policy pi 1. Then further again you do the evaluation. You keep on doing this, and you keep on doing this till the time that the policies are not improving as well as the state values are not. In that particular situation, you can say that you have reached to an optimal value of policy as well as the state values. All right. So this is one algorithm. There are many algorithms to do such things, but policy iteration is the algorithm that captures the essence of reinforcement learning very strongly. So you can see that you can initialize your state values with any real number. You can give it 0 values also. Okay, so we have been using stochastic policies. Even in the programming assignment after this, we'll use stochastic policies. But here, let's say there are deterministic policies as well, where pi s means with probability 1, what action you are going to take. Other all actions are having 0 probability. All right. So policy evaluation is that step of finding the state values once you have a policy pi. So this is, as you can see, there is a Bellman update here. What this loop is doing is you need to initialize a theta value, which is user defined. That means uh, beyond this small change, if your changes in the state values are smaller than this thing, then you can terminate this loop. Until then, you have to keep on running this loop so that you have a good estimate of your state values, right? So what it does is that for every state s, right, you have the old value which is recorded in this small v. Then you do a one-step Bellman update, right? And delta is initialized initially with 0 value. And this, what this step ensures is that the difference between the old value and new value and the delta is like it's the maximum possible difference. That means we need to take care of all the states simultaneously. So if we minimize the maximum gap between any two old and new values, then we will ensure that all the states have simultaneously reached to their optimal value, right? So when we keep on doing this loop forever, like at least until this delta value becomes smaller than theta. Once that happens, our policy evaluation has stopped. Now we have a good estimate of our state values corresponding a particular policy that we have initialized here. All right. So once we have that policy pi, we need to see if that policy is stable. By stable, we mean that if we are in any state S, whether our old policy leads to the same action that has the highest action value, right? So the action value is again given by this expression. So what happens is that if what we do is that for the new policy, we make it greedy with respect to the newly evaluated state values. From the state values, we get the action value. We pick the action which leads to the highest action value. And for that particular action, we give the probability 1. And for all other actions, we give the probability 0. So this process continues. And this will eventually lead to the finally this transitions will stop happening, and we will get the optimal state values and as well as the optimal policy. All right. So this is the end of the theoretical part of this session. So we'll next move to the exercise or the programming exercise. I hope all of you have installed the Anaconda distribution. So I will show you a step to launch that. So I'll stop sharing my screen at this point. And
Hello?
all right. So in that case, you can open the Anaconda Navigator, and you have to launch the Jupyter Notebook from that by clicking launch here. That is going to take you into this particular page where like you need to go into the folder where you have saved that intro to RL, that file, that zip file. So we had shared a zip file with you all guys. So all right. All right. So once you launch the Jupyter Notebook, so you need to go into the folder where you have that introduction to RL files saved. So like in my case, it is on desktop itself. So I'll just go and open this. And in that, you can go into the introduction file. Uh, all right. So shall we begin? All right. So the assignment is like this. All right. So you are in a you're like a city planner, and this by the way, this exercise has been taken from Coursera, and like you can check out, they have amazing courses on Coursera regarding all machine learning and reinforcement learning, etc. So okay, so this is basically a grid world city, and then you have a parking spot. Okay, and then parking spot has certain parking spaces, right? So let's say you have 3 spaces. So depending on that number of spaces, your states can be either 0, 1, 2 till that number of the spaces. That means uh, what that means is that let's say you have 3 available spaces. Your state represents how many spaces are occupied. So 0 means 0 spaces occupied, 1 means 1 space is occupied, then 2, 3, 4, like till the number of all the spaces are filled. All right. So that is the state. Then the price that you decide for that parking system is the action that you're going to take. The reward and next state are decided by the dynamics of this MDP that is taken care by the code already. All right. So let me give you a brief overview of this Anaconda distribution. In this, like you can develop your code here, or you can develop your machine learning models here. You need to first import all kinds of packages. Like in this particular assignment, you need just very basic packages like NumPy, etc. And there is another tools package that I have already included here that includes all the functions that are going to be implemented. All right, so you don't need to worry about all this. So let's say we run this. You can run this cell by Shift Enter. Okay, so we will go in detail in one by one with all this. So number of spaces are, let's say, 3. That means uh, there are 3 spaces in the parking spot. So either 0 can be filled, or 1 or 2 or 3 can be filled. So you have 4 states. All right. And the number of prizes are 3. So that means your actions are 3. You can either take a 0 action, or that means the first reward value is 0, second is 1. Sorry, first price value is 0, second price value is 1, third price value is 3. So there are 3 possible actions. The environment will help you transition from one state to another. I'll show you how. So now let's see. So you have initialized your values with 0 values for each state. So there are 4 states. Each state has a value 0. That means state 0 has a value 0 and all. So that means you can start with any values of the state. So just exploring a little more, the value of state 0 is 0, as you can see here as well. You can set the value of any particular state as, and let's say you set the value of state 0 as 10. Now your state value is of the state 0 is 10, and the state value of all the other states is 0. Summarizing all this is like, if there are 4 states, state 0, 1, 2, 3, and the value of the state 0 is 10, and all the other values are 0, right? Then you have a policy pi. uh, the policy pi is again a numpy array. It's a 2-dimensional array. The row number represents the state, the column number represents the action, and the value represents the probability of taking that action in that particular state. So if state is 0, that means the 0th row, this will tell you the probabilities of taking action 0, action 1, action 2. So as you can see, the sum has to be 1, because in any particular state, if you sum over all the possible all the possible actions, the value has to be 1, since it's a probability distribution, right? So at state 0, the value of action 1 is again 0.33. So let's say you set all the state, the state for state 0, you set the new values of picking up a particular action. So in state 0, the probability of picking up action 0 is 0.75. Probability of picking action 1 is 0.21. Picking up action 2 is 0.04. Right. So summarizing this, this is basically the policy distribution, which is the probability distribution of this policy for any state S. What is the probability that you're going to take any action? So in state S0, the action probability of taking action A0 is 0.7. All right. So this is just a plot of the same thing. So you can see that there are 4 states, state 0, 1, 2, 3. The value of state 0 is 10, as we had set here. All other are 0. All right. And then this is the policy, which is this 2-dimensional array, where the value of state, the probability of taking action 0 in state 0 is 0.75, which is denoted by this block. Since the 0.75 will be something here, so it's quite dark. All other values which are 0.33 are something like in this gray area. All right. So so if you see, there are total 4 states. There are 3 actions that you can take. And this is the transition. That means the row here represents the state that you are in. And the first column represents the reward that you are going to get when you transition from state S while taking action A. So if you in state S, you take, let's say in state 3, you take action 1. So you will get reward 1 with the probability of 0.12. You will get reward 2 with the probability of 0.15, right? So this is nothing but the dynamics of the MDP, or the state transition probabilities, which we were discussing back then. Okay. So for any other combination, the value is 0. All right. So these are the state values or the transition probabilities. Sorry for that. Okay. So this is the basic setup. And in the assignment, you are supposed to implement the policy iteration algorithm, where I'll first show you this section that you need to implement. But I think for today's session, I'll give you the solution as well. You can try back at home, and after going through the slides and doing this introductory, the introductory Jupyter notebook file first, then you can transition to this assignment. So we'll just import all these things. Basically, there are 2 steps in any policy iteration algorithm. One is the policy evaluation, and second is the policy improvement. So in policy evaluation, you take the old values of states and you use this policy update, this Bellman update rule to get the new values of each state, right? So there is one code that you need to implement for this Bellman update. So if you check this function, the evaluate function, this is nothing but same to the evaluation function that we saw in the summary of policy iteration algorithm, where we have delta and theta here. So theta is user defined. And what this does is that it will keep on running this code until the values of each state is the change in value of each state is below theta. Okay, so there is one line of Bellman update which you need to cover in this code. This is just like updating the state value of each state. For example, in state S, V is the old values of those state, pi is the policy, and gamma is the discount factor, and environment helps you get the transitions from one state to another. If you see here, when you transition from state S and taking action A to S prime, and you get the reward R, Vs prime are your old values, and rewards you get from the first or the 0th column of environment.transitions, and these the probabilities you get from the second column, right? As you can see here. So this, the first column is the reward that you get while taking the action A in state S, and this is the probability. So this first column is corresponding to this value, and rewards is corresponding to the first, this 0th column, and V as prime are old values that are stored in this V vector, and the pi value is given in this pi numpy array. Okay, so you need to do, basically you just need to implement this line using numpy here. All right. So in this case, we'll be using 10 spaces, and then there will be 4 prices here. And that means the states are going to be 11 and the actions are going to be 4. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3. And all the values are initialized with 0. Now the policy is such that uh, no matter what state, the action, the action, the probability of taking action 1 is 1, and all the other probabilities are 0. All right. So once you complete this Bellman update and you run this equation, or sorry, this cell, what you will see is that you will get the converged values of each state corresponding to a particular policy pi. All right. So in fact, I'll just move on to the solutions page, and then I'll show you how this thing is running. So we are running these states. So I will show you the, I will also discuss the answer as well. So basically what you are doing here is just take this particular value from here onwards, right? So that particular value is the I have used the variable u to denote that. So you initialize that with 0, and then for each action you need to update this value by adding it in a loop, right? So for each action A, this loop is running and you're adding these values. All right. So as I've already told, so V is the old value, gamma is the discount factor, and environment dot transitions first row represents the reward, and the second first column, which is given by 0, represents the reward, and the second column, which is represented by 1, is the probability of that transition. If you multiply these two and add, and then you get this Bellman equation update rule. All right. So once we run this, and I will show you this thing. So this is the state values. So initially, you remember the state values were all initialized to 0. After running this policy evaluation, till the values converge, we get that the new state values corresponding to this policy pi, which will always select action 1, no matter what state we are. We get these, these are the state values. So what this means is, no matter what is the capacity, the occupation value of any parking space, for example, there are 10 vacant spaces. So no matter how many spaces are occupied, we keep the rate fixed at 1. Okay, if we keep the rate at fixed at 1, the reward that we are going to get on average are given by this, if we start in any particular state. Okay, so that is the meaning of value of that particular state. Next is the policy iteration algorithm to improve the policy. And then that involves again 2 steps. One is the policy evaluation, which we have already implemented. Next is to improve the policy. In this, you just need to make the policy greedy with respect to the new action values. So you had these old state values, which were given by value V. And from this, you get the action value using this, again, the Bellman update. You store all the action values in any, for any particular action A, you store the corresponding action value in this, this numpy array or a vector QS, right? So QS A will have the action values corresponding to each action. Now, we need to pick the action value which is maximum, and for corresponding to that action, we will give the value of that policy to be 1. For all the other actions, we will give the policy of that value of that action as 0. So the probability of all the other actions other than this action for which the action value is highest is going to be 0. Only for this it is going to be 1. Okay. So once you make this policy greedy, you get what are known as like the optimal values of states as well as the optimal policy. Okay, so you can see that these values or the state optimal state values will first thing it will be higher than any other policy. You can see that for all the state values it will be higher than these values. First thing. Second thing, the policy has changed. So initial policy was what we initialized was that no matter what is the state, we are going to take action 1. Okay, but now we have seen that if the parking space is occupied till 8 value, like for example, out of 10, if 8 spots are occupied, we'll keep the lowest fares. That means we will still encourage people to come. Okay, but if it's 9 or 10, that means if it's already almost filled or filled, then we will keep the prices higher so that less people eventually come, and that increases our overall objective of gaining higher rewards. So yeah, so then this thing terminates here. So this corresponding to state 0, this is the optimal state value, and the optimal policy says that in state as state 0, you need to take action 0. And this is a table that gives what are the action values, the actions that you need to take corresponding to a particular state. All right, so that's it for today's session. So thanks for your attention, and keep learning. I hope we'll come up with a new session with higher and advanced level of reinforcement learning algorithms. So I hand over to Christopher again.
Things change, but the memories don't. You only need the light when it's running low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow.